Hello, everybody, and welcome to Grumpy Bear Gaming. My name's Romeo.
I'm Mario.
It's Big Bear Review. It's fine.
Oh,
Anyways, I'm James. Today, we're reviewing one of Romeo's movies that he's decided for us to watch. It's American Psycho. So, Romeo,
yes.
why don't you tell us about American Psycho?
Well, American Psycho is a movie that came out in the year 2000. It is based on a novel by Bret Easton Ellis, and it stars Christian Bale and many other cast members. I think one that's famous is Jared Leto and Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
And it's basically Christian Bale plays Patrick Bateman, who is basically a yuppie Wall Street materialistic douchebag psychopath. And he basically the whole film is told through his narration and his point of view, and basically him working in his basically materialistic yuppie world where basically things matter than people, and a lot of very disturbing content ensues, and it only gets crazier as it gets going. And that's basic, and it takes us to a wild journey through his point of view in life, which is kind of morbid and messed up, but at the same time kind of funny because it has basically a little sense of humor in it. So yeah, what do you guys think of American Psycho? I heard that you guys have never seen it before.
No, I have not seen it.
And
Neither have I.
And it is that's surprising because this is basically the movie because I think before Christian Bale has starred in movies, this was the movie where it cemented him as being in major roles, like a starring role, because he was just a supporting cast member before. After that, he started to get leading roles now. So after that, he started to get that's why he got roles such as Equilibrium, Batman, and onward after that, because people never saw him as a leading man, and because of this movie that proves them wrong. Because I guess in an alternative universe, this would probably end an actor's career, but due to the risque content that's in it, but that actually had the opposite effect. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting turn of events as to how this movie was made, and yeah. So what did you guys think?
I'm going to let Mario go first. I think it's the polite and right thing to do in this situation. Mario, would you like to tell us what you thought about the movie in graphic detail? It's very important that you're very detailed in all your words that you use, because we really want to know. And you want to know too, right?
Yes, I'm sure the audience wants to know.
Oh, yes.
This was definitely one of your choices, Romeo.
Yes.
What is that supposed to mean?
You know what that means.
This movie is your type of movie.
Okay.
And it's not a bad thing, like... Shut up. Where you find it humorous, I'm kind of just like, eh? Like, I see the humor, I just don't think it's funny.
How can you not see the humor? It's like the most mean movie ever.
No, I'm saying
it's
I
mean
see
to death.
I see the humor that's there, but the majority of it isn't my type of funny things. Like the only thing that I thought was funny was when he was fucking the prostitute, the one with the heels on, and I was like, it brought me back to this meme that I saw, and that's literally the only reason I started laughing. But I'm like, you're right, it is a super memey movie. It's quirky and it's weird, and I didn't understand it, to be honest with you, because I was like, is he hallucinating? Like,
We have
is
some
this
questions.
Oh, spoilers. spoilers territory.
Yeah,
now,
he
or...
fucks a hooker. Spoilers.
I'm like,
abound.
Okay.
is this like the precursor to the recent Joker movie we got, where he had one vision in his head of what was happening, and then everyone else had a different idea? That's what I was like questioning throughout the entire movie, because I'm like, she's like, I work in murders and executions, and someone else heard murders and acquisitions. I'm like, did he really say that? Or is this what he wants to say versus what's actually being said? So it was weird in that regard, and I was like, I don't get it. Like, I get it, but I don't get it. And I think that was the point of the movie. Not so that it was like a terrible movie. I may rewatch it just to see if I missed anything, but it's not high on my list to rewatch.
Okay. That's fair.
Every fucking movie you show me. Every movie. Nearly every single movie. You have to have naked women bouncing around for no fucking reason.
Oh, were there naked women on my previous pick?
What was his previous pick?
I can't remember.
8th grade.
No.
There were not.
Oh, I'm sorry, but it's a bunch of 8th graders.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, now let me ask you this. Every choice you make is a DC movie.
Yeah, I have a theme.
Yeah, I have a theme, and you're questioning my thing. I don't question your thing. Now let me question your thing.
Ladies, stop fighting. You're both pretty.
Every movie, it's a bunch of, like, naked women running around, dying. No one ever gets to live in your movies that's naked. Everyone that gets naked eventually dies. Or eaten. Or something. Or caught on fire, shot into space. So, I just...
Every movie has Batman in it with you.
Ha. Wrong.
Or Superman. Or a DC character. Something
Wrong.
involving
Nope,
with
some of my
DC.
other ones didn't. I picked Mortal Kombat.
And you picked Equilibrium.
And I picked Equilibrium.
That was like a
I
general thing. That was a general thing. I do. I'm saying not all of them. All of your picks were DC, but the majority of them were DC. But I don't say anything. Because it's your pick. I don't know why you have to blatantly kind of crucify me in front of everybody just because I have a specific type of movie.
Yes, we know. You need women bouncing around naked.
Actually,
that's what we call Cinemax After Dark.
Because there's only been 2 movies that he's picked where I can remember women bouncing around naked. Just
No.
There
Movies he's picked here, yes. The
Yes.
movies he's...
But we're talking about
You
the
watch-
movies he's picked here.
Yes,
Neon
specifically.
Demon.
That wasn't the pick that I picked for this podcast.
I know, and we will never watch it.
No,
Maybe.
you just said we'll never watch Twilight.
This is very true.
And everything else is fair game.
I don't want to see any more lesbian cannibals.
That's the only thing that you banned. Everything else is fair game. That means I could pick Gone Girl if I wanted to.
Please,
But I'm not that mean, so I won't.
please do. That will be your last review. Because
Okay.
then we'll be going to your funeral.
Okay, so
you'll be gone.
For legal reasons, that is a joke.
So we're digressing.
It's a joke.
For legal reasons,
Get
that's
the-
a joke.
Get the dick out of yours. Anyways, I thought it was a good movie. I have never seen Christian Bale like that, so it was interesting to see him like acting so erratic
Yeah.
and chaotic. Because like he's not like that, and he's
could
a
see-
little bit like that in Equilibrium, a little teeny tiny bit, but not like losing his mind where he's questioning reality, and you're like, when it like the machine said, "Oh, feed me the cat," and I'm like. Does New York do that? I mean, I don't understand. Is that how they get rid of their pet problem?
No.
And then when he just starts shooting people,
Yeah.
I was so confused. I'm like, is this a hallucination? Is it okay? Was that an hallucination? Because he shot a gun and blew up cop cars. Was that real?
What do you mean? Was that? Oh, like that specific event?
Or was that?
Or was
that
any
him?
of it?
Or was that in his head?
That.
I'm gonna throw this water bottle if you don't tell me.
No. No. It's what you interpreted to be. Even the writer, Bret Easton Ellis, who I am a fan of. I like his books. But for this specific title, he even doesn't. When he was writing this, he didn't know whether any of it was real or not, or whether if he wanted to be. Because there were some times as he was writing it, or when he finished it, he was leaning more towards it's real. He was leaning more towards okay, probably it's not real. But in the end, he was just basically like, you know what made this movie interesting, and what made this movie interesting, and what made at least his book more interesting, why people go back to it, is the fact that the movie doesn't really answer that question.
Oh, good.
Because that's the intrigue.
I love
really, but you know, what? Give me one.
Did you think it was real?
I don't know.
Like a lot of that didn't seem real. Like
a lot of it.
Okay, him running through the city shooting just every person under the sun. That did not seem like when he blew up the cop cars with the gun. He even looked at the gun like, "What?
I didn't know
it shoots missiles." I'm like, "You don't? I didn't understand." And then like, that gun should have ran out of bullets.
Well,
a long time ago.
Well, during the time that I recommended the movie, I read the book. I actually finished it before we did this review, and the book is even more like obscure because he's not, and it's kind of prevalent to the movie as well. He's the one narrating, telling you the story, but he's not a reliable narrator, and that's mainly because he lives in this society where materialistic things like, you know, like what you're dressed as, how you look like, how, you know, what type of kind of like big name, like, you know, like suits that you've got, that, you know, it's basically the world that he lives in is status. You know, you gotta have high status, you gotta have like dough. It's all about them making reservations at a restaurant that's hip. And you know, because really when you see him in his work environment, he doesn't really do anything. Yeah. He's just like making guy talk with his fellow coworkers, and they're always in competition of who has the best cards. Like even something as trivial as a card, like in that card scene, like gives him so much pressure because nobody likes what he has, and if nobody likes what he has, then it's like, well, what's, you know, his what's his like point?
Self-worth.
Yeah, like because everything what you own, it's basically your worth. He has no self-worth if he doesn't have the best things. So that basically takes him into a psychosis where he has to take his anger out on other people, but it's mostly people that he finds beneath him. Like there's lots of homeless people that he kind of like just harasses. More prevalent to the book. I don't think the movie not so much. It was just one scene. And he really belittles women, but he also looks at women as objects. He doesn't look at them as like people, because, you know, there's that scene where he wanted to kill that prostitute, and he was like chasing her with the chainsaw while she was going through all of the rooms. It was just like he goes into that closet and there's like dead women, but like hung like if they were like clothing, and that's just the way like a man's world in a materialistic kind of like corporate world. That's just how they view women. They view women as objects, and that's just the world that he's kind of forced to live in. And if he does, like I said, if he doesn't have the best things, then he's worth nothing. And in the world that he lives in, your exterior matters. Your interior doesn't matter at all. Nobody fucking cares about your, like, what you're feeling inside. Like, they even say that with when they were talking about chicks with the rest of his crew, saying like, oh, you know, what if there's a hot babe that had a good personality? And they were all laughing. They were like, no, there are no babes with good personality. It's like, and even if they do have personality, they're ugly chicks because they have to make up for how unattractive they are. And that's just the world that they live in, and that's what he's forced to live in. And if he doesn't meet those statuses, then he's worth nothing. And that's why he gets into these psychosis, you know, into like these psychosis, these things where his reality, his fantasies kind of blend in together, and you're not sure whether what's real, what's happening is either, is it really happening or if it's not happening, or if it's all in its head. And that's kind of what makes his character kind of interesting, because he is just a hollow person. He has, you know, other than the things that he has, there's nothing about this character that you should like. And the only time he ever has some sort of humanism is when it's with his secretary, and that's basically it, because his secretary is the only person around him that kind of views him like as of a potentially like a person, at least. And even if it's not a good person, at least like a person. And that's why, like, during the moment when he's gonna kill her, he doesn't kill her, because that's the only time they ever feel guilt about anything. So he just lets her live. So, you know, there's that. But there's also an interesting theory that possibly that, you know, some people are leaning more towards all of this is in his head. But there's also clues that potentially he might did it. And those are clues as to, I don't know if you remember the last scene where he talks to his lawyer, because he left him that message that, you know, after he did the mayhem about the cops.
Yeah, I shot a bunch of people.
Yeah, and he left like a message to him, and he was like, I did all these things. And when he goes to see him, he thought it was a joke, but he never mentions him as Patrick Bateman. He mistakes him for another person named Davis. And in this world, even with the Jared Leto character, the Jared Leto character mistakes Patrick Bateman as somebody else. Because and he even explained why he mistaked him as that. He's like, he basically wears Valentino suits like me. We go to the same barber, and we go to the same salon where we do our tan, and he does the exact same thing I do. So
like an alter ego.
But if you really pay attention to how everybody looks the same.
Oh yeah.
They all have the same haircuts. They all have the same, like, designer clothes, the same, like, brand of glasses and stuff like that. Like, everything is just basically the same. So a lot of people mistake each other for someone else. So when the lawyer tells him, oh, that's impossible, he can't be dead because I just had lunch with him in London like 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, and at that point you really have to question, like, did he really? Because he mistaked him for somebody else. So he could have mistaken for Paul Allen to be someone else. Like, that's another theory. And then there's also that other clue where he goes to, I guess, Paul Allen's apartment where he put all the bodies. And there was that awkward, uncomfortable moment with the real estate agent that tells him, oh, you know, why are you here? And he was all like, oh, I'm here because of the ad at the time. Because, you know, I saw the ad at the Times. And he was like, we don't have any ad at the Times. Don't make any trouble, just leave. You know? And, you know, you got to really ask yourself, like, were there dead bodies there that she just basically cleared them out? Because we live in a society, you know, it was during the 80s. when the Wall Street stuff was happening, and that was like the biggest part in the era where consumerism was very high. So people, if there's some sort of murder that happens in like in a house that real estate agencies are trying to sell, they'll bullshit, or they won't even mention that a murder happened here, so that the property value can still stay up. So that's also a clue that it might possibly happen. It might be, there's also clues that possibly he killed Paul Allen. In my opinion, I think he actually did kill him. I think all the other things that happen are like too ridiculous that it probably didn't happen, like the cop fight that he had. I think like that was ludicrous, that I don't think it really happened. But there are some things that possibly he did happen. But like I said, then the movie doesn't really give you those questions, because those questions are better left unanswered, because it just makes the movie like more interesting. But I think it's better if it's ambiguous, but because that's what makes it more interesting.
See, let it be ambiguous to you. I don't want to know.
What do you think? Do you think he did it? It's up to you.
I don't think from the cat part forward is real.
Okay.
I don't think any of that's real.
But then, don't you think it's ridiculous that?
No, I think his lawyer covered it.
No, but don't you think it's ridiculous that when he was chasing that prostitute and she was practically running through the entire apartment complex and nobody heard her screams, her cries for help, or the fact that he killed her with the chainsaw?
It's New York. People know their business.
This is true.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's probably something he did.
You hear crazy people outside screaming, do we go out there and ask if they need help? No. We just make sure the door's locked and close the windows.
And pretend that they're not there.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to, like, someone's screaming like that, I'm like, are you okay? Do you need help? What's going on? I hear a chainsaw. Maybe you should, like, maybe you should run. Just run. Run fast, run far. Stay close to the walls. I think he did kill him, and how the lawyer acted and how the real estate lady acted, it was like, you don't need to be here. We fixed it, basically.
Yeah.
It's not here. They're gone. He doesn't live here anymore. Magic.
It's like money solves everything.
Next time you make a mess, like use some.
And that's the theory.
A tarp. Don't get blood everywhere. Paint everything.
And that's another. That's why a lot of people juggle whether he did it or not. A lot of people agreed from one end or the other. But that's just the fun of it. At least from this movie. Because
he always kept saying that he's about to break. Over and over and over and over and over.
Yes, that's what he did, some he didn't.
Yeah, I think the cat part was him broken. And going forward, so as soon as the cat thing happened with the ATM, I think that shooting the lady and everything after that was fake as shit. And then him talking to the lawyer again is him like, I confessed. You heard it. I'm like, oh yeah, it was funny. Yeah. But like, the lawyer can't. I mean, you've had to deal with lawyers. They're trained to lie. I mean, come on. That's their job.
I wouldn't say lie.
They get to warp the truth.
There you go.
So, of course they're gonna, he's not gonna be like, oh yeah, don't worry. It's fine. And then the lawyer can give an alibi. Because he's the lawyer.
Yes.
So,
there's that. But...
So it's like, because exactly how, like, he wanted him to stop talking about it, like, it's okay.
Yeah, I have to go now.
Brushed him off and went somewhere else. I think all that was, like, fake, and the lawyer fixed it, and the real estate lady works for the lawyer.
Yeah, but even the lawyer didn't know who he was.
Yes.
So why would he fix an alibi for somebody he didn't have a clue who he was?
I don't know.
Like, he mistakes him for somebody else. Even though that's his lawyer.
I don't know.
It's a good question.
You know,
It goes back to that whole money fixes all kinds of
plausible
things.
deniability.
Oh no, just money fixes all kinds of things. And
well, like I said,
the
the real estate agent probably there were bodies there, but didn't say anything. They just cleaned it up just to keep the property value of that apartment high.
Yeah.
And sell it to the highest bidder. That's it. Money is more important than
in that world.
Yeah, in the world that they live in. You know, and
So
that's
I'm not going to get any answers from this.
No.
It's fucking okay.
well. There's clues, but it's
No.
it's just what you interpret it. It really just depends on the viewer.
So it's the Zelda timeline. It is however you want it to be.
Oh god.
It's up to interpretation.
Where the hell that's not.
Even though there's 15 different versions of it, it is whatever you want it to be.
I mean,
use your imagination.
But for this movie, it kind of does. Because
Why
you can
did
go
it-
through all the evidence, but there's always loopholes for those evidence. But you could try to prove it otherwise. But then
I've never seen one with a gun. He never had a gun, not once until that one point. The ATM thing, that there's no way that's real. The cop being shot, and then the whole city not hunting him down, like that moment before they knew he was rich. Like before that moment, like they would have shut the city down, and like they would scoured the earth. So
trust me.
So that's why I'm like, the cop thing couldn't have been real. Because like, why is there so much fire?
I feel like there
explode.
I feel like there's more. I feel like there's more of that in the book as well, because there are certain times where he will just wake up out of nowhere doing something, and he's having a panic attack, and like the chapter will start mid sentence, and you don't know, and he doesn't know where he's at, and he's like in panic mode. He doesn't know why, and that's what's causing his his kind of like his psychosis to be even worse. Hell, there's even like moments where like his violent tendencies just bleed into his reality, where sometimes he's talking to a character and he thinks he's talking to a severed head and stuff like that. It's like things like that. It's just like it just bleeds into his reality. He's like having just like a very psychedelic like psychosis problem.
Oh,
that
sounds like
just
schizophrenic.
And some people, that's what some people think, like
Schizophrenia,
that he might have schizophrenia.
Psychopathy. He's definitely.
I mean, there's that could be a solid factor as to.
Isn't he the brother of someone in another movie?
Yes, this is actually connected in the same world as the Rules of Attraction that I showed you.
Okay, yes.
Because that character is his brother, and in the book there is a chapter where they do meet somewhere. You know that place Dorsia?
Yeah.
And every time he tries to go, and that's the most hip place ever, and every time he tries to get a reservation, he can never get it, and that's what pisses him off. Well, when he meets his brother makes a reservation to Dorsia, and he actually gets it. And he like fucking hates his brother that he
As
can
you
get
should.
it. You know,
You get something I couldn't get.
Like even he's like feels like if he's in competition with his own relative. Like,
Oh Lord.
It just like kind of just irritates him. But anyway, what do you guys think? Have like a curious question for this part of the movie. Mm-hmm. What did you guys think of the segment where of the gay character where he tries to strangle him?
I think that was him really snapping, but he stopped himself. I don't know why he stopped though, which confuses me. He would have gotten away with it probably.
Because I have a different idea for that. I feel like, because in the book he despises gay people, like he doesn't despise lesbians, but that's because of
yes, for the
fantasy.
Porn he makes.
Yeah, for porn, because he's desensitized to horror movies and porn. he like treats porn and horror movies like as like plays it in the background while he's doing stuff.
Oh no, I remember
he's like
screaming.
So like desensitized to it, but he even like he despises like gay people, and in that moment he was in such shock, and he even washes his hands when he's wearing gloves, and he's like despises that, and I feel like I interpret like him as he is possibly low-key a homosexual, and that he doesn't want to admit that to himself, that he has to cover it up with extreme homophobia. Because apparently this character is a recurring character. He comes out more in the book.
There's a lot of rage there.
Yeah.
Like towards women and stuff, and like if you watched enough Law and Order, SVU, you understand that like a lot of the closeted characters they have that are the bad guys are like problems with their mother, deeply closeted, treat women like garbage, as objects. They don't have any kind of like emotional attachment to them. They're their things.
Yeah.
But
even the women
violent, super violent.
But even the women in this movie are kind of shallow too.
Yeah,
like they.
Well,
they,
the girl, like he was telling his girlfriend, I'm like he said like what, I'm a murderer or something, and she's like, oh, that's so young, and I'm like, bitch, do you listen?
But
I'm gonna eat you.
I feel like the only I feel like the only two women that have any like development as like, oh, they're kind of human beings is the prostitute Christy and Jean, who is the secretary. They're like the only ones who kind of have like a little bit. Because when it comes to the Christy thing, it's like you actually want her to survive what she's going through. And I feel like she's like the only character that kind of sees underneath the mask and knows how he really is. I guess based on his first experience with him.
Well, so she had to go to a doctor and have surgery.
Yeah.
And her stupid ass still got in the car with him again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And obviously, the violence in this, like, though it is graphic in some ways, it's mostly off-screen. Like,
true.
Nothing is revealed in gory detail, and I feel like that was a decision on the director, who basically it's like, oh, it's up to your imagination, and to really solidify the whole whether this is real or fake, because most of the kills are off screen that happen. In like the book, it's so much like graphic detail, but it to the extent that it feels like it's not real. Like, this is way too much that I don't really believe this is happening. In a sense, so they kind of like really take it into a different direction, I would say. But what do you guys think of the performances?
Thought it was good.
They were good. They were nice.
I can see why he's gotten like the later roles of being the stoic, silent type from looking at this movie. I'm like, huh. Even though you're insane, you're still keeping it all under wraps.
No.
And even your psychotic breaks aren't real psychotic breaks. So, that was interesting.
Yeah. I guess I have not really much more to say about it. I really enjoyed it for what it was, and I always tell people don't take it too seriously, because I feel like it's a movie. If you take it seriously, you probably might find offense to it.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
But it does have moments where you shouldn't take it seriously. Like the whole scene where he kills Jared Leto. Like, that was a very iconic scene, and I'm pretty sure people are not taking that scene seriously.
Not at all.
Especially when he's like describing the Huey Lewis in the news as he's like preparing to fucking murder him.
Is that a raincoat? Yeah, it is. Oh yeah. Let's do this. And then the way he's like walking, he's all like,
Yeah.
This is fine.
hell yeah, let's do some murder. Fuck yeah.
Oh, God.
I'm so excited for murder people. Oh yeah. It's like, what the fuck? And he's so drunk or whatever that he doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Or what's his name? But yeah.
But he's also the character's also a very heavy drug user.
Yeah.
You know, and
I know he was doing sweetener in the bathroom.
Yeah, he was pissed off that the cocaine has sweetener. And he was like, if we do enough of it, we will be fine.
That's never a good mentality to have when it comes to drugs.
That is not what.
Yeah, but I feel like in the book, the drug, his drug addiction is more apparent. And in some cases, if you have a mental disorder, drugs can actually make it worse.
Yes.
So it'll make the whole psychosis part. Like,
well, his psychotic break was after the club scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the dinner with his ex, after that it's his ex, but yeah.
mm-hmm.
So that's when he loses his shit, right? Right after that?
That's when it starts.
Okay. So, yeah.
Oh, the start of him losing his...
Losing his
Yeah,
mind.
when the ATM asks for a cat, and then he tries to actually put the cat in there, and then you're like, there's no cat slot. Kane, I don't know what the frick you're doing.
Well, that's after he killed the girl. He ate the girl and then killed the other girl with the chainsaw.
See, but
I feel like he lost his mind way before that.
Well, no, like,
I mean,
just
the point where
I feel like he
clearly it's not reality.
complete lost his mind or
when he was asking, when the ATM was like, feed me the cat. And
yeah.
I'm like, what?
Well, it becomes apparent that like, okay, it's
this is no longer real.
yeah. It becomes kind of like apparent.
No, because like even he when he's shooting the gun at the cops and like they blow up and he kills all of them, he just looks at the gun like,
yeah, like even he's in disbelief.
He's like, huh?
Even he's in disbelief.
He's confused, and you're like, and we're all confused with you because we don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. But he's like telling the story, but he's not a reliable character because he's kind of
with a handgun today.
Yeah.
It means I'm a superhero. You know,
I'm back.
I'm Batman.
Oh my god.
Makes sense.
What's your favorite part of the movie, if you have one?
I do not have
The
one.
credits? Those are pretty good too. I didn't hate this movie. I just thought because it was so not clear on like what reality was, that like I didn't know like what's going on. Like the whole Paul Allen thing, I think he killed him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he killed him because why would he go to that other apartment? Like, whose apartment was that? If that was real. And he took people there. And he asked people to call him Paul Allen.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Because
like...
he disassociated from himself.
So it's like... And the other thing is, like... Sometimes I don't even think that apartment's real anymore because he's already dead or missing. The cops would have closed it off. You wouldn't be able to get in the apartment anymore. You know? Like, all his shit would have been gone. Was he dating someone?
He was dating.
He was dating a lot of people.
Other than the
but
four,
he
was he married or something?
But he was engaged with Reese Witherspoon's character. That was his...
No, Paul Allen.
Oh, Paul Allen?
Did
he said he had a girlfriend.
Okay.
He had a girlfriend because the girl...
She was looking for him.
She was the one who hired Willem Dafoe's character, who was a private PI, I believe. So
it's like some of it didn't seem like it was real. I feel like the apartment thing that wasn't real.
I think it was.
Or maybe he just had a place where he killed people.
He uses his apartment and Paul Allen's apartment for the murders.
Yeah.
I know, but the ones at his apartment at least make sense. The one at the other one doesn't make sense to me because logically.
Well, it's because everybody nobody's looking, or at least the cops are not looking into his into his apartment because everybody thinks that he's in London.
Yeah.
So like okay, so it's not a they're not really investigating.
But they even say like he was missing and it's on the news. Someone says that in the background.
No, I know, but
They
even
said that they
believe that he was there because apparently Willem Dafoe's character heard an alibi in London saying that they actually saw him.
And they saw.
But apparently it was mistaken.
Yes.
Like he was mistaken for somebody else.
It was the other guy.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're not
we're not sure.
So we're not sure. But they didn't. But obviously he wasn't he was a detective, but he was a private investigator. So it's like,
and I feel like he knew.
He
knew. Like I feel like all his dialogue was far too specific.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, it's crazy how one of his friends could kill him, and and you're like, huh? Like, did he connect all those dots? And is he just now fucking with you for the fuck's sake?
To think that his own friends would kill him with no apparent reason would be ludicrous. Isn't that right,
crazy.
Patrick?
Look at this CD I picked up. Aww. Like, what the fuck?
But like I said, when you were like, is he doing that for real? I'm like, he's probably just trying to get a rise out of him.
Yeah, but it was way more specific. I was like,
yes, that's what cops
all his dialogue
do,
is super specific.
But cops do
or
he wasn't a cop.
Well, I'm just saying, cops do that where they'll actually put you in a scene and make super specific
wouldn't it be
things.
crazy if like someone just chopped him up into little bitty pieces?
Yes, they will literally do that in interrogation to get you to
don't even
confess.
want to do that.
But at the same time, I feel like there are certain scenes where he tries to kind of confess his dark intentions, but everybody either mishears him, or they don't hear him, or they don't care.
I am a murdering psychopath. Oh, it's nice to meet you. Oh, love your hair. It's great. Love it. Then he's like, "Did you not hear me? I'm a murdering psychopath."
Well, because that's the thing. Whether people find out, would anybody care? Because it seems like
most people at that level are probably murdering psychopaths.
Oh, that's fine, honey. I killed 3 people the other day. Yeah, that's great. Where'd you bury yours? Oh, I have an apartment. I have a whole apartment of bodies.
Yeah, because
every time them all in one spot.
Because every time that they talk, the only thing that's important to them is reservations at this restaurant.
Okay,
what kind of? They always ask him for. What kind of suit should I wear with this or that?
Or about their business cards.
Yeah, or drugs. They don't have a good enough bathroom to do coke in.
It's very important we find a very nice, fancy bathroom to do our drugs in.
I mean, that's
don't want to slum it and just do it.
Yeah.
I want those to be automatic faucets.
Like the poor people do.
Yeah.
Huh?
Like, I don't want to do it like the poor people do.
Yes, someone do coke off of.
Yeah, and Patrick is even like, I'm not going anywhere unless we have reservations.
I know. Like was that like a running joke through the whole fucking movie?
Yeah, because
that's every fucking
because that's the livelihood.
Oh, we gotta have reservations, bro. We gotta have them. So, God, if we don't have
reservations, because that's basically.
I'm not hungry, but I want reservations somewhere. I'm like.
Because that's basically that's basically the Yopi culture. It's basically like a frat house,
essentially.
Anyways,
but
so
yeah.
Do you have a specific part that you thought was like, what the fuck, or
the entire damn movie?
Alrighty then.
The entire.
So the whole movie's a what the fuck. Good job, Romeo. Do you have a specific part that you enjoyed the most out of all of it, or you just like the whole movie?
I mean, I like everything.
Okay, awesome. That was neither of you very specific. That's awesome.
I was very specific.
I thought my favorite part is since I'm going to be the only who singles something out. It's like when he's doing what's the chainsaw. He's like, na 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 na, and that. I did it. Like he scored points.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Paul Allen death scene.
Fatality.
That was very funny. It was hilarious.
It wasn't. Okay, yes, it was funny. I mean,
his performance sold that scene.
Yeah. He's like, is that a raincoat? Yeah, it is.
It's like, why do you have copies? Why do you have copies of the style sections all over the place? You have a dog. And he's like, no. It's like, is that a raincoat? Yes, it is.
Of course it is, as he's buttoning it up. Yeah.
Yeah, like, even his taste in music is commercial.
True.
Like
he
nothing
knows
about
a lot
him.
about those songs that even I'm like,
He was just trying to fit in.
He was just trying to fit in
Yes,
because
and
most of his like taste is materialistic, and even like his taste in music are commercial. Like they were popular back in the day. There's nothing really unique about it.
I get that.
You know,
because like he's very the person, he wants to be on the end. He doesn't want to be left out. He doesn't like, he wants to be the popular kid in the world. And if he's not, then that's when he starts to lose his shit. Like with the card.
But even living that lifestyle, he's already losing it because it's such a mundane, boring lifestyle. Because that's all you do every single fucking
He
day.
needs to invest in some video games and some art because his place was boring.
Oh, God.
It was white. It was just all white. Like, just
His
boring.
shower was nice.
Yes. I will agree. I like the shower.
was really
I did
nice.
like a shower, too.
I'm like, oh, I want that.
Even his bed looked very
His
comfy.
bed was nice.
Yeah.
It did, like, it was very big. It was a king, obviously.
I know.
It was huge. I mean, it fit all those hookers.
He basically did. He basically had an OnlyFans back in the 80s.
If OnlyFans was in the 80s.
Yeah. Tarn us for not inventing cell phones, the cameras back then.
Yeah.
Would have revolutionized everything.
We would have made so much money.
Yep. All right. Ratings.
Yes.
Romeo, you go first.
I give it an 8. It was really well made, faithful to the book, though left out some very like minor details in the book that would be important, but I think it still worked well without it. And you know, yeah, it was pretty great.
Mario, what's your rating?
Oh, no. After you.
No. I called on you, so what is it?
Mine is a 6. It's a good movie. It has some rewatch value to it, but it's still a huge what the fuck. Like, it's funny, but then it's also not funny at the same time. And it's interesting, but at the same time, I kind of want, like, some definition or just some clarity on where his head is at. And I kind of feel like this movie being super successful, and I'm not dissing this movie at all, I think it was great. This movie is essentially what kind of led us to get the most recent Joker movie.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think this movie didn't do that movie did that was just slightly better was you got to see what he thought reality was and what reality really was.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, if they did that, it would totally be rated like a 7 or 8 for me.
Mm-hmm.
But just the ambiguity takes it down just a bit. Other than that, it's a good movie.
There's no answers to this movie. I hate that there's no answers. Like, there's no it'll boggle my mind. Like, I'm the type of person that will stay up all night. Fucking.
I mean, that's the power of the movies. That's always going to be in your head.
And
yeah,
it's
I
gone
know.
on mine
I
already.
have yet to be able to get Gone Girl. No matter
I mean,
what.
you said you wanted to rewatch it again to see how you would take it at the same time. I mean, the first time I seen it, I gave it a kind of a, like, I think I gave it like a 6 too, but that's because I didn't understand it. But I have rewatched it several times after that, and it actually gets better.
Huh.
You kind of appreciate it more now that you know, now that you're not surprised with what it is. You kind of know what to expect. That it's like, oh, now you start looking at the other details that are, you'll appreciate it.
I give it a 6.
Okay.
It's like nearly a 7, but it's just like not knowing definitively bugs me because it's like some point of me is like, because to me it'd be more interesting if the lawyer's like just playing it off like, no, you're good, and just is the one dealing with it, because I feel like that's something that happens a lot more.
Yeah.
And the fact that the real estate agent was like, don't ever come back. Like, she's telling him, don't come back here. It's a mistake.
He even tells him, "Don't."
This is a crime scene. That's all she was not saying to him. Yeah. This is a go away. You are stop.
We know you did it.
Stop coming back. Why do people come back to the scene of the crime? Are you stupid? But no, please leave. Don't come back.
Oh yeah, they also left the detail out in the book that happened in the end. It was like, I think right after that scene. He gets like in a taxi, and the taxi driver looks at him, and he's like driving very fast, and he was like, "Hey, don't I know you from somewhere?" And he was like, "No," and he was like just shrugging him off, and he was like, "No, I know you from somewhere," and he was all like, "You're wanted. There's a wanted poster in the city with your face on it, and I know it's you, and it's like you killed one of my friends," and there is a scene where I think it was that same scene where the cop thing happened, and he actually killed the taxi driver because when the cops were chasing him, he goes inside the taxi, and he tells them to drive, and he points a gun at him, and he was way too scared that he was just like, "No, don't kill me, and he's not driving him anywhere, and he just gets so frustrated that he just kills him. And so when he gets in the taxi and that happens, that scene made sense, and all he does is just at the end, instead of turning him in, he just points a gun at him, and he just basically tells them, "Give me your watch, your wallet, and your money," and he like just takes off. And it's like that might be a clue that maybe what he did might actually happen, but it's not very specified either. But they decided not to add that in the movie. But overall it is 6.6 with all of our ratings combined.
All right.
So decent. It's really, movie not for everybody, but...
You're going to have to watch it 5 times in order to get it.
I was going to say watch it twice to kind of catch all the details that you may have missed the first time.
I was going to
around.
say like 3.
3 times might be the best.
Yeah. To like get everything. Like
So,
maybe there's some fucking random fucking clue in the background and makes everything fall into place.
Definitely watch it for... If I'm going to recommend it, definitely watch it for Kristen Bell's performance.
No, he was so good. I will say that his performance was awesome.
What carried the movie, actually.
Yeah, like his franticness, his mental break, his facial expressions, all of that was just amazing. Like he is, like, people make fun of him for the Batman thing, for the Batman voice that they gave him. I mean, even I think that was kind of dumb, but I mean, at the same time, like, he's a good actor.
Yeah.
And people give him shit for like what happened on the Terminator set, but he's a professional. Like if some like off-screen guy like disturbs your role and you fall out of the role you're in, like if it takes you a while to get into it, you're gonna be pissed the fuck off. So he's obviously took time and effort into getting into the role of this person. So you can imagine how frustrating it is, like having to constantly like go in and out of being a psychopath. Like over and over and over. You're like, fuck, what do I have to do? So I get it. He's very good at what he does, and that's probably why I watch his movies, because I always want to see like how he is and everything. I was actually disappointed he didn't keep doing Batman, because I actually liked him as Batman. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's fine. We have
actually your both of your guys' feelings towards this movie is the same type of feelings that I felt with the Joker. I felt the opposite. What you guys felt about this movie is how I felt about Joker. It's like
Joker, the movie?
Yeah, the one with Joaquin Phoenix. That one.
I loved that movie. It was really good. Did we review that? We didn't review that.
No, we did not review that.
No, but that will be for another time.
Oh yeah, when the Batman movie comes out.
All right. So, would you want to introduce the next?
The next movie we're picking to watch is an audience pick. It is The Fourth Kind. I don't know where it's at. Do you know where it's at?
Yeah.
Where is it at?
You have to rent it.
I have to rent it.
Yes.
Okay.
From Prime, I assume.
Prime?
Yeah. I have rented it, and yesterday, I believe. So if you guys want to catch it before it expires tomorrow, that will be your only chance.
It's fine. If I have to rent it again, I'll rent it again. I remember the movie. I watched it once. No, I think I watched it 2 times because I was so fucking confused the first time I watched it. It's an interesting movie. It's about aliens.
Okay, true.
That's what they call The Fourth Kind.
Okay.
So next time we'll be reviewing The Fourth Kind. And yeah, and that's our audience to pick. And then we'll start over now. This will be one of the last reviews before Halloween or October. So we'll be doing our horror picks. So in the next review, hopefully we'll have our horror picks so we can name them so people can like watch them. So,
exciting.
Yeah.
Very
It's going to be fun.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching Big Bear Review. I'm James.
I'm Mario.
I'm Romeo.
You guys have a beautiful night. Also, follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube under Grumpy Bear Gaming. Yes. And feel free to request any movie reviews you want except for Twilight, because I will not watch it. I'm sorry. No matter how much they want to review it, I will not let that happen. So, I'm sorry.
Good Lord.
I have veto power.
You have no veto.
Yes, I do.
Okay, then we all have veto power.
No. You can't veto.
Yes, I can.
What?
If you can, then I can too.
Yes.
All right. See you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.